alcoholism is a dreadful disease, and my sympathy for, I believe there is something.
The golden age of Hollywood is often remembered as a magical time for films, with dazzling stars and unforgettable movies. But what about the secret poison behind the curtains that took many lives? Believe it or not, life off camera isn't as perfect as you see through the films. Well, let's check it out together. Number 20, W.C. Fields. W.C. Fields, born William Claude Duncan Field, was a beloved figure in American cinema. Known for his sharp humor and moody charm, he had a special talent for mixing his real-life personality with his movie characters, making him unforgettable.
Wait a minute, I want to show you my private art collection. Okay, Abigail? Oh! Not bad, eh? Get the knee action?
With his unique nasal voice, sarcastic humor, and love of drink, Fields became a star in his mid-50s, winning over audiences with his wit and charisma. But his life wasn't easy. His heavy drinking caused serious health problems, like delirium tremens, and led to Paramount Studios dropping him, putting his career in danger.
Some fresh water. A towel, thank you. Never like to bathe in the same water twice.
Despite this struggle, Fields found a second chance in the industry. What do you think it was? W.C. Fields found a second chance on the radio, especially on The Chase and Sanborn Hour with Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy. His funny back-and-forth banter with McCarthy became a hit and gave him hope during tough times. Sadly, his drinking took a toll on his body, and he was eventually sent to the Lassen Sanatorium. On Christmas Day in 1946, at just 66 years old, Fields died from a massive stomach hemorrhage, ending a career filled with both great success and personal struggles. Number 19, Richard Burton. Richard Burton, the charismatic actor known for his powerful performances, rich baritone voice, and famous romance with Elizabeth Taylor, was often seen as the heir to Laurence Olivier's legacy.
You come here then running over with wine and self-pity to conquer Caesar.
So long now. You filled my life.
His brilliance still shines, especially in his Oscar-nominated role in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? But behind the glamour, Burton battled lifelong demons. He admitted to starting drinking at just 12 years old, and at his worst, he consumed up to 3 bottles of vodka a day.
Believe me, the question of being an alcoholic, I'm not quite sure that I am one, but if I'm not one, I'm very near. I'm right on the edge of being one. But it is no laughing matter. It really is not a laughing matter.
The effects of Burton's drinking became painfully clear during the filming of The Klansman, where he often had to perform scenes while sitting or lying down because he couldn't keep his balance. Off-screen, Richard Burton's behavior was equally wild. After hearing about a shark sighting, he drank 21 shots of tequila before diving into the ocean. By 1970, doctors warned him that his drinking would kill him, and in 1974, he narrowly survived a terrifying episode of extreme alcohol consumption. His kidneys were dangerously swollen, and by the early 1980s, surgery revealed his spine was coated with crystallized alcohol. Tragically, his incredible career came to an early end in 1984, when he died at just 58 years old.
Alcoholism is a dreadful disease, and my sympathy for, I believe there are something like 15 million Americans alone who are alcoholics.
Number 18, John Barrymore. A member of the legendary Barrymore acting dynasty, this acclaimed actor rose to fame in the early 1900s and was celebrated as one of the greatest talents of his time. Known for his powerful portrayals of sympathetic characters grappling with alcoholism, his performances often mirrored his own struggles with drinking.
What I am going to talk about, I have not the slightest idea. Except that these guys who are brought up as loathsome instruments.
While widely praised for Shakespearean roles, his chilling turn as Mr. Hyde and his iconic portrayal of Sherlock Holmes were well known, but his troubling upbringing and later years only deepened his dependence on alcohol. In one shocking incident, his second wife caught him attempting to drink her cologne. By 1933, he starred in the hit comedy Dinner at 8, directed by George Cukor, where he played one of his first drunkard roles, a struggling alcoholic actor. Sadly, his drinking soon began to affect his career, and by 1936, his memory had deteriorated so much that he relied on cue cards during performances, marking the decline of his once brilliant career. Many of his later roles reflected his own life, portraying men consumed by excess, their hands trembling from years of indulgence. In 1942, at the age of 60, he passed away from cirrhosis, kidney disease, and chronic edema, his body devastated by years of alcohol abuse. A peculiar legend surrounds his death, involving his drinking companions, Humphrey Bogart, John Huston, and David Niven. The story goes that they borrowed his body and placed it in Errol Flynn's home, propping it up so Flynn would stumble upon it with a drink in his hand. When Flynn returned and saw the lifeless figure of his mentor, he reportedly fled in terror, screaming into the garden. The group eventually reunited, toasted the body, and discreetly returned it before dawn. Though tragic, this bizarre tale highlights the unforgettable impact he had on those around him, both in life and death.
Tired of expensive, low-effort script writers for your YouTube channel? Autoscripter.ai is the ultimate solution. Say goodbye to low-quality, poorly retention amateur scripts that fail to generate thousands of views for your channel. At a fraction of the cost, Autoscripter.ai helps your videos go viral. In just 3 steps, Autoscripter.ai creates a polished script tailored to your needs. Just input your title concept, select your tone and style. The intuitive interface makes editing and refining effortless, fast, smart, and trusted by hundreds of satisfied users who have already discovered the amazing tool. Start your free trial today and watch Autoscripter.ai transform your YouTube channel. Just click the link in the video description below now.
Number 17, Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn, the epitome of charm and masculinity, became an enduring symbol of adventure and romance through his unforgettable roles in films like Robin Hood and Captain Blood.
Do you remember my father used to be professor of biology at Queen's? He always used to say, man is a savage animal who periodically, to relieve his nervous tension, tries to destroy himself.
Off-screen, however, his life was just as dramatic, a whirlwind of indulgence, scandal, and adventure.
When I first met him,
he was just such an adventurer. He wanted to travel and see the world. He was my hero.
He was very down to earth, and he was very much a parent. He was right there, and nobody ever writes about that.
He wanted to do everything. He wanted to try everything.
He was a very sensitive man, and he hid everything under a facade.
He was an enchanting creature.
Known as a legendary ladies' man, Flynn embraced his image as a seductive rogue, fearless fighter, and avid cocaine user and enthusiastic drinker. His exploits ranged from rubbing shoulders with Fidel Castro in Cuba to hosting wild parties at his Malibu estate, famously nicknamed Cirrhosis by the Sea, which he shared with fellow actor David Niven. On his private yacht, Flynn threw parties filled with alcohol, cocaine, and non-stop revelry. His commitment to excess was so intense that he once stumbled onto a film set drunk and bet $500 that he could charm his co-star, the lovely Olivia de Havilland. Can you believe that Flynn faced a serious health challenge in his early 30s, yet he approached it without even caring about it? He collapsed in an elevator and was told by doctors that his heart and lungs were irreparably damaged. Despite the warnings, Flynn's appetite for alcohol and drugs remained the same. Tragically, his hard-living lifestyle caught up with him, and he died of a massive heart attack at just 50 years old. Number 16, Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart, often regarded as the pinnacle of male acting in American cinema.
How are you, Mom? It's me.
You no good tramp.
Mom, ain't you glad to see me?
Built an iconic career with unforgettable performances in classics like Casablanca, The Maltese Falcon, and The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, and The African Queen as well. His work earned him numerous Academy Award nominations and the respect of his peers. Yet behind the silver screen, Bogart faced a well-documented struggle with heavy drinking, which often overshadowed his professional brilliance. Friends describe a late-night version of Bogart that emerged after 11:30 p.m., a man who could become angry, stubborn, and even aggressive under influence. As his career advanced, his drinking began to interfere with work. He would sometimes show up to the set drunk or hungover, and in one famous incident during the filming of Sahara, he refused to leave his dressing room until his then-wife brought him a thermos of martinis. On another occasion, he arrived on set in his pajamas, opting to ride a bicycle around the studio grounds instead of working. Bogart's off-screen antics were equally infamous. He rarely refrained from drinking, leading to bizarre episodes such as stealing a restaurant safe and later returning it, or assaulting women who tried to take away his favorite toy panda, which he carried everywhere. Despite forming close bonds with fellow actors like Richard Burton and Frank Sinatra, his excessive behavior often got him banned from clubs and bars. Years of heavy drinking and smoking eventually took a devastating toll on his health. In 1956, Bogart was diagnosed with cancer, a battle he ultimately lost.
Where do we go? That's what I gotta find out. Spats, you round up everybody we know. Barney and Sunshine, you come with me. I'll call you back in a few minutes.
Number 15, Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed, with his intense blue eyes and rugged charm, was a powerful presence on screen, known for playing villains and strong characters.
I beg your pardon?
I told you, old man, to leave us alone.
Are you serious?
Well, I
can't understand what you're saying.
I was trying
and you're shouting it because you've been to RADA and the sound man has told you speak up. I've just told you to speak softly.
He starred in films like The Three Musketeers trilogy, Oliver Twist, Treasure Island, and Gladiator, building an impressive career with over 120 movies. But his talent was often overshadowed by his well-known battle with alcohol, which director Ridley Scott and others sadly noted. Reed's personal life was just as wild as his roles. When he was 35 years old, he was in a nightclub fight that left him with a scar needing 63 stitches. Though he worried it might hurt his career, he continued to be a standout actor. However, his drinking often caused problems on set. For instance, during Gladiator, Ridley Scott tried to get him to stop drinking, but Reed couldn't resist. Sadly, Reed's life ended after a heavy drinking session with Royal Navy sailors at a pub in Malta, following the completion of his scenes for Gladiator. He suffered a fatal heart attack that night, cutting short a life of both great talent and reckless living. Number 14, Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole's remarkable career earned him 8 Academy Award nominations and unforgettable roles in films like Lawrence of Arabia.
I'm glad Peter O'Toole is available tonight because he rarely is for shows. He's been very busy. He's made many motion pictures. And I suppose best remembered by the movie-going public for his great portrayal as Lawrence of Arabia.
However, behind his Hollywood success, his private life was filled with struggles, especially with alcohol.
Oh, dear young lady, unlike you, I have not spent my life cruising from discotheque to discotheque with my arse hanging out of a French-cut bathing suit.
Well, you're missing all the fun, aren't you?
I suspect you're right.
In his early years as an actor, O'Toole's love for drinking became famous. Legendary stories of his wild drinking binges in Beirut during the filming of Lawrence of Arabia became well known in the industry, and he was said to be drunk throughout the making of the 1964 classic Beckett. One infamous incident even saw him unknowingly attend a play in Soho, only to realize he was the star of the show. O'Toole and his drinking companions were notorious for their regular drunken escapades. He once fondly remembered waking up in Corsica after a night of drinking in a Paris pub. He also admitted that he found out about John F. Kennedy's assassination while in an intoxicated state, years after it happened. Although O'Toole eventually gave up alcohol due to health problems like abdominal pain and warnings from doctors, the damage was already done. In 2013, he passed away in a hospital in London, England.
So long as men can breathe and eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Number 13, Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was a legendary singer whose love of alcohol became as famous as his voice.
With song, let me sing forevermore, because you are all I worship, all I long for and adore.
Sinatra's drink of choice was Jack Daniels, and he had a very specific way of enjoying it. His signature drink consisted of 4 ice cubes, 2 fingers of Jack Daniels, and a splash of water in a rock glass. It's rumored that he would drink an entire bottle of Jack Daniels every day, which astounded his doctor. Sinatra's life was filled with fame, glamour, and success, but his drinking could drastically change his mood. When intoxicated, his temper would flare, and he was known to clash with journalists, co-stars, and others in the industry. There were times when his ex-wife locked herself in a room after seeing him drink gin, as it was a sign that he was becoming aggressive. Sinatra, along with his inner circle of friends, often jokingly referred to themselves as the American Olympic Drinking Team, celebrating their shared love of alcohol. His drinking, however, took a toll on his life and career. Sinatra passed away in 1998 at 82. Did you know, as a final tribute to his favorite drink, Sinatra was buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels in his casket? Number 12, Bernard Lee. Bernard Lee, a respected actor with over 100 roles, is most remembered for portraying M, the head of the British Secret Service in the James Bond films. Lee's career began at the young age of 6, when he started acting in stage productions. Over the years, he became a seasoned professional, building a solid reputation in film and television. His famous role as M brought him widespread recognition, and he appeared in 11 Bond films. However, despite his success, Lee's personal life was marked by pain and tragedy. After losing his wife to a devastating house fire, Lee sank into depression and struggled with alcoholism. His addiction was so severe that he was confined to his dressing room during breaks from filming the Edgar Wallace TV series to prevent him from drinking. But despite these efforts, Lee often found ways to continue drinking, even sneaking alcohol through the keyhole of his dressing room. His drinking problem was well known, and it was even reported that he outdrank the notoriously heavy drinker Richard Burton on one or more occasions. Sadly, Lee's heavy drinking likely contributed to his death from stomach cancer at the age of 73.
If you carry a 00 number, it means you're licensed to kill, not get killed.
Number 11, Barbara Payton. Barbara Payton was once a rising star in Hollywood in the early 1950s, but her career quickly plummeted due to her struggles with alcoholism. Born in Minnesota, Payton moved to California to chase her dreams of becoming an actress. She appeared in several films and even starred alongside iconic actors like James Cagney and Gary Cooper.
Seems strange that you never wanted me to take this ring off.
Perhaps because it's part of you. Until I give you mine.
But despite her professional success, her personal life was in turmoil. She had numerous affairs, struggled with violent relationships, and even found herself in legal trouble for public drunkenness and other crimes. As her drinking worsened, Peyton became a fixture in bars, and her once beautiful appearance began to fade. Her struggles took a darker turn when she lost custody of her son due to her erratic lifestyle. In 1962, Peyton's life hit rock bottom when she was found sleeping at a bus stop on Sunset Boulevard. That same year, she was arrested for disorderly conduct while intoxicated. Despite her efforts to seek solace in alcohol, her health deteriorated. At the age of 39 years old, she died of heart and liver disease. Number 10, Gail Russell. Gail Russell was an actress whose rise to fame was neither planned nor desired. She never aspired to be a star, and in fact, as a timid and introverted young woman, she preferred the solitude of her own room rather than socializing with others. Despite her desire for privacy, fate had other plans. A Paramount executive spotted Russell's striking beauty, and her mother persuaded her to audition for a film. This led to her screen debut and a subsequent rise to fame, though it was a career she never actively sought. In 1949, Russell married actor Guy Madison, marking the beginning of a turbulent period in her life. Despite rumors of her romantic involvement with co-star John Wayne, Russell's marriage to Madison ended in 1954 after several years of strain. During this time, her drinking problem intensified, contributing to her declining career. By 1952, her troubles worsened, leading to several arrests for drunk driving. Seeking to regain control of her life, Russell sought help at a sanitarium in Seattle, where she underwent therapy for her alcoholism. After her divorce, Russell made a brief comeback in 1955 with the film 7 Men from Now, produced by John Wayne. However, despite her efforts, alcohol continued to dominate her life. Tragically, in 1961, she was found dead in her Los Angeles residence, which is actually very sad. Number 9, Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford, one of Hollywood's most glamorous stars, had a surprising relationship with alcohol, despite her high-profile marriage to the CEO of PepsiCo.
Al and I helped build Pepsi to what it is today. I intend to stay with it.
We appreciate your devotion and contribution, Miss Crawford. But we have retired you from the board of directors.
You drove Al Steele to his grave, and now you're trying to stab me in the back? Forget it! I fought worse monsters than you for years in Hollywood. I know how to win the hard way.
Crawford became Pepsi's official ambassador after her marriage, and she traveled the world on promotional tours. As part of her duties, she made very specific requests for the types of drinks to be available during these tours. Among her list were bottles of champagne, scotch, bourbon, gin, and of course, Pepsi, though it seems she was far more interested in the alcohol than the soda. Crawford's drinking habits were no secret, and her love for alcohol seemed to go hand in hand with her glamorous public image. On these tours, she would order excessive amounts of liquor, including several bottles of champagne and a variety of hard spirits, but would rarely drink the Pepsi she was supposed to be promoting. Instead, her alcohol consumption was the center of her attention. As a star who had achieved both fame and financial success, she indulged in a lavish lifestyle that involved many extravagant behaviors. However, behind the scenes, her alcohol habits painted a different picture, contributing to the darker side of her public persona and affecting her relationships and well-being. Number 8, Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy, best known for his iconic role as Mr. Spock in Star Trek, had his own struggles with alcohol addiction during the show's production.
In this case, do yourself a favor. Put aside logic. Do what feels right. Since my customary farewell would appear oddly self-serving, I shall simply say, good luck.
Like many actors in Hollywood, Nimoy was faced with the intense pressure of fame and the demanding schedule of shooting a major television series. To cope with these pressures, Nimoy turned to alcohol. What started as an occasional drink gradually turned into a more serious addiction, as he used alcohol to shield himself from the stresses of fame. His co-stars, including William Shatner, noticed his increasing dependence on alcohol, and Shatner even remarked that Nimoy used it as a way to deal with the heavy expectations placed on him. However, Nimoy eventually recognized that his drinking was becoming a problem, and after the filming of Star Trek, he sought help and entered rehabilitation. Sadly, despite his efforts to overcome alcoholism, Nimoy continued to struggle with other habits, particularly smoking, which ultimately contributed to his death at the age of 83. Number 7. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, one of Hollywood's most beautiful and talented stars, faced her own battles with addiction. Known for her stunning looks and legendary acting career, Taylor's personal life was marked by her struggles with both alcohol and painkillers. In 1983, Taylor became the first major celebrity to publicly seek addiction treatment, entering the Betty Ford Center. The facility, founded by Betty Ford, the wife of then-President Gerald Ford, was established to help individuals struggling with substance abuse.
If I had not found recovery from my own addiction to prescription drugs and to alcohol, I would not have lived to see this day.
And Taylor's decision to seek help marked a significant moment in her life and the broader cultural landscape. Taylor's admission of her addiction had a profound impact on both her career and the way addiction was perceived in Hollywood. She showed that even those at the peak of fame could face challenges like anyone else. After overcoming her addiction, Taylor became a tireless advocate for AIDS awareness and research, using her platform to promote both prevention and treatment. She played a key role for raising funds and research and helping to raise awareness of the disease. Number 6. Carrie Grant. Carrie Grant, the suave and charming actor known for his roles in North by Northwest and Charade, had a hidden struggle with alcoholism in the 1950s.
Cheers.
Despite his polished on-screen persona, Grant's personal life was far more complex. He sought therapy to help with his drinking problem, and during his treatment, his doctor suggested an unconventional form of therapy, LSD. At the time, LSD was seen as a possible treatment for addiction and psychological issues, and Grant found it to be somewhat helpful in altering his perspective on life. He embraced the experience of taking LSD, which allowed him to see the world in a different way and even opened up new doors for his understanding of personal fulfillment. Cary Grant was reportedly so affected by this experience that he began to feel more content and balanced in his personal life.
Do you intend to cooperate with us? I'd like a simple yes or no.
A simple no. For the simple reason I simply don't know what you're talking about.
He even introduced some of his friends, including Judy Garland's daughter, to the therapy. Grant's transformation was deep, and he continued to live a relatively peaceful life, free from alcohol addiction, until his death at 82 years old. Number 5. Michael Landon. Michael Landon, beloved for his wholesome roles in Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie, was not as perfect as he seemed on screen. Behind his wholesome image, Landon struggled with both alcohol and drug addiction. Though he was adored by fans for his kind, fatherly roles, his real-life habits were much darker. Landon's drinking was an open secret on set, but his colleagues were unaware of how severe the problem really was. He would sneak alcohol into his coffee and drink secretly while filming, all while maintaining his friendly, easygoing demeanor. Even off-set, Landon continued to indulge in his drinking habits, often at local bars. Unlike many other celebrities, he faced more challenges than just alcohol use. Can you guess what his other addiction might be? He struggled with an addiction to painkillers, using them as a way to manage the stress that came from his challenging career. His addictions were so severe that they likely contributed to his early death from pancreatic cancer at 54 years old. While his death came as a shock to many, those who worked closely with him understood that his public image as a wholesome family man was often a cover for his battles with addiction. Number 4, Dean Martin. Dean Martin, the charming entertainer known for his cool, laid-back style, was often associated with drinking due to his on-screen persona.
I feel sorry for you people that don't drink. I mean it, because when you wake up in the morning, that's as good as you're going to feel all day.
His famous drunken performances, where he appeared to drink throughout his shows, were part of an act that was crafted to create the image of the ultimate laid-back, cool man. However, those close to him revealed that Martin wasn't drinking alcohol most of the time. Instead, he would often substitute apple juice for the liquor he appeared to drink, maintaining his image without actually indulging in excessive drinking. Despite this, the public image of Martin as a heavy drinker made him a role model for many. His daughter and friends later disclosed that, in reality, Martin was a responsible father who kept his drinking to a minimum and rarely drank excessively. Martin was known to limit himself to one drink in the evening, typically shared with his wife. While his career was often linked to alcohol, Martin maintained control over his habits, never letting them interfere with his family life. He lived a long life, passing away at the age of 78. Number 3, Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw, an actor famous for his role in Jaws, had a reputation for excessive drinking during his career. While filming Jaws in 1975, Shaw's drinking became a problem for his co-stars and the entire production. Known for his hard drinking ways, Shaw reportedly drank scotch throughout long filming sessions, often making the atmosphere on set tense. His co-star Richard Dreyfuss openly criticized Shaw's drinking, even going as far as to throw away a glass of alcohol that Shaw had in his hand one day. This action highlighted the frustrations that Shaw's constant inebriation caused on set. Despite this, Shaw's drinking became part of his public persona, and many saw it as a part of his rough-and-tumble character. However, it caused serious issues during the filming of Jaws, which already had its share of challenges, including mechanical shark problems and bad weather. Shaw's drinking problem was one of the many struggles that led to the tension between him and his co-stars. Though Shaw was known for his brilliant acting, his alcoholism contributed to the strain on his relationships and his career. Number 2, Jan Michael Vincent. Jan Michael Vincent was once a rising star in Hollywood, best known for his role in Airwolf. In the early years of his career, Vincent was on top of the world. He quickly became one of the highest-paid actors on television, after earning a record-breaking paycheck for his role in Airwolf. However, his fame and fortune allowed him to indulge in dangerous habits, particularly alcohol and drugs.
Did the success and ease by which you could get those roles mask what was happening? Mask your drinking, mask your cocaine use?
I believe that's so. I never thought about it like that. But it's all down there on paper, and you're looking at it chronologically, yeah. I believe that's exactly so.
As his addictions grew, they started affecting his career and personal life.
In a Laguna Niguel courtroom, this came during a hearing to determine if he violated his probation following his latest arrest for being drunk in public. Now, that came in January in Santa Monica. Last year, the former star of TV's Airwolf series was arrested 3 times in a month on similar charges. Vincent posted $20,000 bail after today's arrest and was released. A trial date in this case was set for September 14th.
Production delays and financial problems on Airwolf were partially due to Vincent's substance abuse issues, and by the end of the show's run, his career had been severely impacted. Vincent's problems didn't stop there. He was arrested multiple times for drunk driving and was even involved in a car crash that resulted in serious injuries. His struggles with alcohol and drugs also led to domestic violence incidents. Over time, his once youthful looks and charismatic charm faded due to his substance abuse, leaving him unrecognizable. Number 1, Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner, one of the greatest actresses in Hollywood history, had a well-known problem with alcohol. While Ava's performances in classic films earned her widespread acclaim, her personal life was often overshadowed by her heavy drinking. According to friends, Ava could be pleasant at first, but after a few drinks, her personality would change, becoming stubborn, aggressive, or even violent. Her drinking began to affect her work, and there were several occasions when she showed up to stay hungover, making it difficult to concentrate. Ava's struggles with alcohol were no secret in the industry, and many people, including co-stars, observed how her drinking impacted her career and relationships. So that's a wrap, guys, for the golden age of alcoholic stars. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to watch our previous video about 20 nasty hidden secrets from Hollywood's golden age. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content like this.